1. Blog Talk Radio.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40! That's why we took the damn field. You want to crown them? Then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook. I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
It is more about them than it is about the team. Cannot play with us. Cannot win with us. Cannot coach with us. Can't do it. I want winners.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? I just hope we can win a game.
You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
Strikes another at the 30. And he's loose. Adrian's inside the 30. 20. 10. Touchdown!
Where the f*** is my second belt? I've already got this one. Where's the second one?
Hey, guys.
My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat your children.
And it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that. He missed it left.
I think that the NFL knows what Randy Moss has done with marijuana. And I think the NFL knows what Randy Moss does with marijuana.
Good morning, and thank you for joining me. He's questionably parked near Venice Beach. We're live, Shirts versus Skins, with Alistair Conrad.
Good morning, Indy. Welcome to Shirts v. Skins. I want to thank Keith once again for that intro. It's just so awesome. It really is. Welcome to Shirts v. Skins, a sports show. I am Alistair, the host. Happy Sunday fun day to everybody. Those of you, the millions of you listening around the world. And those of you on Facebook Live, good morning. Hope everybody is having a great Sunday morning. Welcome to the show. I admit I spent all day yesterday at Rincon Beach with my buddy Tom and our pit bulls. It was Tom's birthday yesterday, and so I'm wildly unprepared for this for this show. Not like anything is new. Not like that's a big deal. Not like I haven't come on here before and rattled off an hour. This show used to be 2 hours. I used to come on and rattle off for 2 hours about absolutely whatever came to my head. So, an hour is not that big a deal. Plus, there's stuff to talk about. Obviously, it's March Madness. Lonzo Ball's dad, Lavar Ball. Steve Alford, kind of shocking that he didn't go to Indiana. There's only, so I mean, there's stuff. There's stuff to talk about. So, anyway. One thing I do want to piggyback on, though, is what I mentioned last week, and that just is so irritating, but I find it amusing, and it kind of makes me feel good, because actually it means that maybe somebody's listening to this show. It was when I threw out the NBA players taking the days off. It came out the next day, LeBron was talking about it, then like 2 days later, the Herd was talking about it, Colin Cowherd, and so forth. The funniest thing I got out of that in this past week is LeBron. I can't remember exactly what night it was, but he questioned the toughness of his teammates. Oh, I think they got crushed by Denver, is what it was. And LeBron questioned the toughness of his teammates, and I couldn't help but choke on that irony when he's preaching toughness. Now, keep in mind, I understand LeBron plays, I think, more minutes than maybe anybody in the league, so I will give him a flyer. But, even so, when you're talking about toughness, to me, toughness might start with playing all the games. That's just one. So I just found it a little bit ironic that LeBron was going to, and Bob, top of the morning, babe. I agree. LeBron wants his cake, etc. And it's just, I think it's just a different era. And it's hard for myself to take. And I'm thinking off the cuff right now. And I think for me, possibly more so than others, only to the degree, and I'm not saying only me, there's others, but I'm a huge defensive guy. When it comes to football, I've said it 1,000 times on the show. I loved the Steelers and the Ravens, circa 2007, 2008, with Ray Lewis and company and James Harrison, and although he's still playing, Polamalu and whatnot. Those games were 10-7, even though it had Big Ben on one side, Joe Flacco on the other. Decent offenses, but the defenses were so superior. And so bottom line is, for me, all these advances, offense in football, this toughness, the defense is taking out of stuff. The hardness, it feels like, is being taken out of sport, and it's getting soft. And I just have an issue. And so therefore, when LeBron takes a day off, when they're healthy, if you're hurt, it's one thing. But if you're healthy, you're getting paid millions of dollars to go out and entertain people who go and see you. It is a very slippery slope, because as a sports player, especially somebody like LeBron's stature, Doug, good morning, babe, top of the morning. Somebody like LeBron's stature, we as a society are going to judge him by stats and championship rings, bottom line. And so therefore, for him, it's different, because yes, we are paying his salary. The fans are paying his salary. Yet at the same time, we also are going to be the end judges for him. And so he wants to be able to make his stats, have as many rings as possible, so when his end does come, we are favorably talking about him. At the same time, him taking the days off puts a negative shadow on his story. To me, it does, and I know it does to a lot of other people. And so it's a fine line that they have to play. Yet at the same time, I don't know. I understand his side. I do, but at the same time, they wouldn't be playing without the fans. And so therefore, it's, if you're not hurt, you play the goddamn game. Bottom line. That's all I'm getting at, is if you're not hurt, you play. That's it. And that's, one night off is fine. But if you can't play the second night of a back-to-back, I don't know. I think that's where it's getting a little too much. So, anyway, I just wanted to piggyback on that real quick. Something else that's in the news is, first off, I was pretty shocked. Obviously, I'll get to the March Madness. I know that's going on. Thanks. But there's just a couple house cleaning things that I want to chat about. I was, especially in Los Angeles here, Steve Alford, the coach of UCLA, I mean, literally, Doug Gottlieb was on, I want to say, Dan Patrick's show. I'm trying to think of the other dude who was on Colin Cowherd out here. And they were both, literally both, 100%. Steve Alford's gone. He's going to Indiana. And literally, like Doug Gottlieb, it wasn't even a question. He said he's gone. Absolutely, he's gone. And obviously, Indiana goes and hires Archie Miller, who, by the way, let me bring this up. I mean, Archie Miller had an insane run, and here's something that's really odd. He's 10 years younger than his brother Sean, who's the coach over at Arizona. They look like they're twins. It freaks me out. I don't know why it weirds me out so much, but they're 10 years apart, and they're identical. It's weird. But Archie at Dayton was there for 6 seasons, first 2 were whatever. The last 4, he made he made the March Madness tourney, made it to the Elite 8 one of those years, and had a really good run. So the hire is actually a really good hire for Indiana to get Archie Miller, but everybody, I guess I don't necessarily know too much about it, but everybody was expecting Steve Alford to go. And then Archie Miller gets in, so I guess Steve Alford is staying at UCLA. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because LeVar Ball, Lonzo's dad, is such a... If there were classifications of parents, Lonzo Ball would be the wide receiver, on a football team. Just a diva, won't shut up. He's the Chad Ochocinco, the Terrell Owens of dads. And it's just... it's a little much. He was on the other day with Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, and it was almost embarrassing to watch because you knew it was pretty set up. But at the same time, LeVar Ball, the guy, good God, two things. And it's an angle that you have to appreciate. Because if you remember Todd Marinovich, back in the day, USC quarterback, his dad was a psycho. But the flip side of it is, his dad got him a full ride scholarship as a quarterback at USC. So there's that. And even though his dad was a hard driving guy, he got his kid a full ride scholarship. So, there's a lot of dads out there in the world who, if you told them, hey, you're going to give, your kid's going to get a full ride scholarship as the quarterback at USC, then, I'd sign up for it. I'd be like, all right, but you have to be like this as a dad. Okay, so that is LeVar Ball. The flip side to him being an ass is that he's got 3 boys. 3. Lonzo just, is the first one and done. And then he's got the next kid coming in who's going to be a freshman next year at UCLA. And then the youngest son. They've already got full ride scholarships to UCLA. So, as much as his dad, as much as LeVar Ball is an idiot, he's still got 3 kids, 3 kids, full ride scholarships to UCLA in basketball. So, that aspect, not so bad. You know what I'm saying? Not so bad. And Bob, I 100% agree. They put a mic in his face, and he says some outlandish stuff. Now, not every dad does that, though. You throw a mic in some people's, face, and not everybody is like that. LeVar Ball, you got to give it to him. He can drum up business and excitement and attention and all the stuff our media just has this insatiable appetite for. He's able to push those right buttons. So you got to give him credit, once again, in that aspect, too. It's just a little overboard. And I think, I think we can all agree on it, yet at the same time, it's working. And that is the society we live. The way that he is going about his business is it's working. The things that he is saying are so stupid and outlandish, with Lonzo, and I agree, Bob, Lonzo is the real deal. His attitude, he's so even. For somebody like myself who's so high and so low, it's not annoying whatsoever. I just wonder how it plays in the locker room. I wonder what it's going to play like to pros. If in the locker room after the loss, and granted they just lost, so I'm definitely, when I would lose growing up in sports, I was definitely more animated than he was. But there's something about his personality that's very aloof. Can he play ball? Oh my God! The kid, and that is the biggest thing. It's going to be fun to watch him facilitate at the NBA level. Because he has everything, plus the kid's 6'6" point guard. God, his shooting, his shot, I guess I should say, is a little wonky. But, so be it. The kid can play, there's no doubt. But his dad is just making, saying he's better than Steph Curry. I mean, once again, it's drumming up stuff. This is what he says. I mean, this is hilarious. Hold on a sec. His younger kid, right, is LiAngelo, the middle kid. I'm sorry, the kid who's going to be a freshman next year. So it's, what's his name? Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo. Save the comments, I guess. Just nice. Anyway, LiAngelo is the middle kid. And this is what he says. Now, keep in mind, LaMelo, the youngest, is very, very heralded. Obviously, Lonzo is the real deal, as Bob just mentioned. But the middle kid, this LiAngelo, is kind of, unheralded, if you will. But Lavar says, along with him saying he's going to take down Jordan one-on-one back in both of their primes, which, I mean, is just so amazing. He says the middle kid's chasing Lonzo and has the same mindset. He's a different type of player. He's 6'6", 240, and he's a scorer. Think about that, 6'6", 240. Jesus, the kid's a freshman or a senior in high school. Jesus. He might average 20 next year. This is what he's talking about, his middle-aged kid who's like a 2 or 3 star coming out, who's going to UCLA. He might average 20 points next year, maybe even close to 30. He's been a scorer all his life. He's led Chino Hills in scoring all 4 years. UCLA is losing all their scores. Nobody who's coming in is better scorer than Jello? I don't know if it's LiAngelo. Let's just call him Jello. So he's already pumping up this kid. Now here's where I'm tying it all together, and I know I'm really bad at this, and I trust me, in my comedy open mics, I really need to shore this up too. But how I'm tying this all together, I feel bad for Steve Alford. Steve Alford, I'm thinking possibly in Steve Alford's head, he was already out the door. He's like, this is it. If we lose this game or if we win the national championship, I'm probably still going to Indiana. They hired Archie Miller, and now Steve Alford is stuck with LaVar Ball for the foreseeable future. And to me, I don't necessarily know as a head coach. I mean, do you want, seriously, I'm being serious about this. Do you want the distraction of LaVar Ball having to deal with him around campus for the next 3 years for sure? Because you got little LiAngelo coming in next year. LaMelo is a sophomore, so junior, senior. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as Steve Alford is in Pauley Pavilion strutting the sideline, LaVar Ball is going to be there in the news, in the ear, all that type of bullshit that, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm thinking Steve Alford's somewhat disappointed right now. I think we could all agree Steve Alford's a little disappointed that he has to deal with this. I would be. I mean, like I say, everybody agrees, yes, the guy can drum up a lot of attention, and good, bad, doesn't matter, it's attention. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if there was 1 million people who said this show sucked, guess who'd be completely fine with that? That would be 1 million people paying attention to this show. I'd be thrilled. I don't care what you would say about it. I would be thrilled. You could say any negative stuff on the planet about it, and I'd be fine. That'd be great. Unfortunately, only like 3 people say this show sucks. So that's the problem. So anyway, that's it. I just say Steve Alford's really probably not happy. So March Madness is here. Man, that Wisconsin-Florida game, holy cow. Oh my God. And anybody ever want the kiss of death? Just let me know what school you're rooting for. I will go ahead and throw them, some accolades on this show, and then they will eventually lose. That's why the Vikings probably have sucked for so long, because I want them to win. But Wisconsin, wow, just a crusher. Just a crushing loss. The thing is, you looked at the stats after that game. Wisconsin had 5 maybe 6 different scores in double figures. Florida had one. Granted, the guy went for, I think, 35 points in 37 minutes. I mean, kid was out of control, and I'm trying to think of the kid's name. I did have it here. Either way, it doesn't necessarily matter. He went off, and now it's Florida. Florida and South Kakalaki. SEC battle to lead things off today. But before I get to that, a quick question. And those of you in Facebook Live, respond, please. I'm interested because when it comes to sports, and not just March Madness, not the tournament, I'm talking about overall in sport. To me, and I want to know if it's the same with other people, when I see a matchup, it could be any sport. And you guys know how I feel about soccer. This is a perfect example. I don't like soccer. I think it is one of the most boring things anybody could ever watch. I think I would rather watch bowling, the PBA noon following NFL primetime on SportsCenter on Sundays, instead of watching soccer. If you like it, that's fine. I know there's most of the planet loves soccer. I just don't like it. But what I'm getting at is if I see Barcelona versus Real Madrid, Bob, Norm Duke, goddamn, I mean, if the people out there, Bob, could understand how many times that we were watching primetime, and then it would, ESPN obviously would show the worst programming at noon Central because they knew they were going up against the NFL on CBS and Fox, so they would throw out bowling. And before Bob and I could turn the channel to actual football, they would cut automatically to the PBA. More times than not, it would be Norm Duke, who I guess is apparently a rock star bowler. God, awesome. But when I see these matchups, there's something about it that I like. Like I say, soccer, Barcelona versus Real Madrid. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, that's Ronaldo and that's Messi, and that's an awesome matchup. And I know millions, if not billions, around the world agree. And so when it comes to the March Madness, when it comes to other things, I'm looking at the bracket, and I'm thinking South Carolina and Florida. This might be the best game of the day. I doubt it, because North Carolina and Kentucky obviously is... people thought Kentucky-UCLA was a good game. I think North Carolina and Kentucky is going to trump that. And so, just the marquee, when you imagine a matchup... I'm blocking off the Facebook Live while I'm doing my hand gestures. When you're envisioning the marquee and it says South Carolina, Florida, when Steve Spurrier was coaching football at South Carolina, that was a big game. That would be something I would want to see. When it's basketball, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't necessarily know if I'll watch it. I don't know. I might. But North Carolina, Kentucky, not only because I know both of those teams have All-Americans littered across the roster and it's going to be an exciting up-and-down type of a game, but there's something about the marquee. So therefore, when you see Gonzaga, which is a cute story, Mark Few, one of the best coaches in basketball, duh. But name recognition, and they've been doing this for a while at Gonzaga, but the other's Oregon. Oregon, even though they've got a nice squad, and holy cow, they put the boots to Kansas yesterday. Even so, I think Oregon, and what's funny is they were built on football, and now their football team sucks. Kids still want to go there, but ever since Chip Kelly left, they've been nothing. And now their basketball team is rock solid. Absolute studs. And even with losing that Boucher, whatever his name is, they're rocking. They got the Los Angeles, or California Player of the Year in the Dorsey kid. and they're playing really well. All I'm saying is, you see these teams, and yes, North Carolina, Kentucky, oh my God, I will be here at 2 o'clock watching that game. There's no doubt in my mind I'll watch that game. But like I say, it goes for everything. And I want to know if it's just me. It could be UConn women basketball versus Baylor. And I'm thinking in my head, God, I should watch that. I should watch that. When in fact, I don't want to watch it. I don't. But there's something about names to me. And I just don't know if that's the same with other people. I really don't. To me, I look at it and I'm thinking, wow. So is it a good thing for basketball? Is it a good thing for March Madness? And Bob, you're a big golf fan. And I know it doesn't matter to you because you're such a golf fan. But others, is it, if the big names aren't on that leaderboard on Sunday at the Masters, I know you're watching, and I know others will watch who are big golf fans, but to just the passerby, is it something that if the big names aren't on the leaderboard, people are going to probably tune out? That's why they've taken a hit since Tigers kind of, left. So, but I don't know how much it means, ratings-wise. Obviously, baseball this year is Cleveland and Chicago. That's massive. That is massive. Think if it was the Florida Marlins and, Oakland. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, it does mean something. I just know for me, seeing that on the marquee, South Carolina, Florida, I'll probably check it out because I love South Carolina's game. Frank Martin's a funny-ass coach. But Kentucky, North Carolina? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Once again, though, that Florida squad can play. They've got, a bunch of shooters, a lot of speed. South Carolina there's a cool article, and I can't remember exactly where it is, but something mentioned South Carolina to Kemba Walker and that UConn team in 2011. And I just found it. And it said, if you're looking, it's on ESPN. It says, if you're looking for historical parallels for South Carolina's remarkable 3-game streak, you could do no worse than Connecticut in 2011. The Gamecocks finished the regular season by losing 6 of their last 9. Kind of like UConn's dropping 7 of its last 11 in 2011. And then, obviously, we all know what happened. Kemba Walker and UConn went and they won the Big East tourney. And then they went on, and I actually picked them to win the championship in my bracket, and I won some money. It's the only time I ever have. But shameless plug. It's cloudy here. I need some reassurance. I need some good stuff. Anyway, and that's kind of South Carolina right now. They're in that zone. And they've got some ballers. I can't remember the dude's name. He's the player of the year. Yeah, Sindarius Thornwell. What a great name, by the way. Kip, good morning, bud. Good morning. But, they've got some players, and they play with a lot of heart. They've got the personality of their coach, which is awesome. Once again, I like Martin. And it's going to be an interesting game. You got 3 SEC basketball teams in the Elite Eight, which I find amusing because generally they're a football power, and the Big Ten just lost their 3 players. One got killed in Purdue, their top seed. Wisconsin just lost on a buzzer beater, and Michigan, unfortunately lost to Oregon. So it's a wild little grouping that we got left, and I'm trying to think I'm going to check out the bracket real quick because I know it's not Oregon versus Gonzaga. Okay, so Oregon's going to play the winner of the UNC Kentucky. That should be interesting. And then Gonzaga obviously plays the winner of Florida South Kakalaki. So it's well, Kip just said he's super bored on Facebook Live. You should do something to resolve that. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to up your boredom level. Halfway through the show, Shirts v Skins, I'm Alistair. Thanks for joining. Last half of the show, I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. I have nothing going on for the last half of the show. I'm going to drink a sip of chocolate milk, though. It's actually half and half. It's actually half milk, half chocolate milk. It's like I'm drinking a mulatto. It's delicious. So anyway, I don't know. What else is out there? Should I mean, like I say, I guess I can talk about UNC Kentucky. That's a, pretty impressive game. And I'm just like, nah, whatever. Last time these two played, by the way, where is this? I gotta see, because it was a barn burner. I want to say it was like 103 to 100. I'm pretty sure actually that's what it is. I don't remember exactly, but I do know the Monk kid who was killing it the other night. And same thing with that, what's his name? De'Aaron Fox? That kid's he's by far the player of the tourney so far. What's it? De'Aaron? De'Aaron Fox? He's killing it. And Malik Monk, those two, at one time on Friday night in that game, I'm trying to think who, against UCLA, they scored, those two, Fox and Monk, scored 30 of Kentucky's 32 points at one time. Is that not, that's insane. And then they just couldn't miss. That Fox kid is a slasher. He's probably 140 pounds wet. But he's pretty legit. But like I say, the first time these two teams played, it was pretty impressive. I'm actually going to go to something else. No. See, this is why I hate... There we go. Timeout. I want to see it. This. Oh, wow. UNC. Holy cow. 60% of the people are taking North Kakalaki. It's kind of odd, right? 60%. It's not close. I thought it would be a little bit closer than that. The spread is UNC by 3. Yowza. I wonder, I'm trying to find, I'll find it. I'm just going to try and find their regular season matchup. There it is. I mean, they lost to UCLA twice, and they won, and now they lost. No, they beat North Kakalaki earlier. I mean, there was no defense in this game whatsoever. Monk hit 47 points. Jay Jackson for North Kakalaki had 34. It was a tight game the whole way through. I'm looking. Holy cow. Both teams, UK shot 54%. UNC shot 53%. Yowza. Wow. That's it. I mean, put it this way. If we can get another 103 to 100 game, I think everybody would be happy with that. You know, either way it goes. I don't even care. That's I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. God, I don't know. I feel like I should talk football. just because. I mean, it's football, and I know, Bob, you're tired of hearing about it, but, you know, reports about Adrian Peterson won $8 million a year. That's kind of, you know, interesting. I just say, everybody is so quick, and I know a lot of people don't like the guy. That's fine. You know, I mean, you don't have to like him. All I'm saying is, it's shocking to me that, and if he's wanting $8 million, that's why he hasn't been picked up. Let's just be real. But at the same time, you know, I look at last year as kind of an aberration. It was just a terrible, you know, showing for the offense in general for the Vikings. But all I'm saying is Adrian Peterson is still pretty decent. I'm not saying he's Adrian Peterson of 2008 or 9, but all I'm saying is he's not bad. All right? And I'm thinking if you put him in, and I'm assuming he's probably he probably just got the realization that he's not going to get his $8 million. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he threw it out there, and I'm telling you right now, it's possibly, you know, a huge mistake going after so much, because you got, and keep this in mind, this is the biggest thing. He obviously was asking too much money, because there's no way in the world, no way, that you can look at Eddie Lacy, Latavius Murray, you know, the Vikings could have re-signed AP, and all these running backs who got signed while AP was asking too much money. And that's the problem, is he might have screwed himself. Now, Oakland is still available. And this is something that I heard the other day that makes a lot of sense. The reason why they're looking at Marshawn Lynch and trying to bring him back is because Oakland is very close, obviously, to getting this Las Vegas deal. But that still wouldn't be for 2 years down the road that they would be in Las Vegas. And so, in Oakland's eyes, they're like, if we can get Marshawn Lynch, he's from Oakland, and he would keep the excitement level there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Kip, you are out of control. You're out of control, and you're spelling my name wrong. It's not Allister, it's Alistair. You can just call me All-Star if you want. Oh, yeah, no. Beat it, punk. So that's it. I think he would fit really nice in Oakland. I think AP would be better than Marshawn Lynch, but I get Oakland's angle on that Marshawn Lynch deal. I still think AP in silver and black would really be a good thing for that team. Marshawn Lynch, I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. But other options out there, I think, here's the deal. Here's exactly what's going to happen. Nobody is going to make a move on AP until the draft is over. That's it. You know what I'm saying? The draft is so deep at running back this year. You got teams like Green Bay Packers, New York Giants, Oakland Raiders, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville is probably going to end up with Leonard Fournette. Now, think of this. Leonard Fournette and Adrian Peterson are the same player. Fournette, obviously, is going to be cheaper and a lot younger, so you take him, obviously. But out of the backfield on third downs, the team that gets Leonard Fournette is going to be in the same predicament as Minnesota was taking Adrian Peterson. For Jacksonville, it might be the best thing ever. Just because Blake Bortles needs help. That's the biggest thing. And if you give him Leonard Fournette, I think that would actually be pretty impressive on that offense. As long as the offensive coordinator doesn't feel obligated like every coordinator in the world did with Adrian Peterson to give him the ball all the time. I mean, it's a catch-22. You want to because he's so good, but then all of a sudden your team becomes one-dimensional, and that's kind of where the wheels fall off a little bit. So it's a touchy situation getting somebody like that. That is why I look at Dalvin Cook for Carolina, or what's his face, Fournette, and I think Dalvin Cook. It depends on the scheme that you're running. Jacksonville throws the football a lot, and they're out of shotgun a lot. Is that Fournette's deal? That's Dalvin Cook's deal. If I'm Jacksonville, I might look at Dalvin Cook more than I would Leonard Fournette. Carolina, I'd look at Leonard Fournette. I mean, that is a perfect marriage. But it depends. Is Jacksonville going to get swayed by the sexy? Seriously, you got to think about what type of, and that's why the Patriots are so good, because they draft people to fit their system. Is Jacksonville going to get are they going to get fogged? You know what I'm saying? Are they going to end up making the wrong decision because they're thinking Fournette is the guy to go? You know what I'm saying? Dino, good morning, bud. That's right. You're in Palm Springs. You're so close to me. Although I don't know exactly how far Palm Springs is to Los Angeles here in Hollywood. But that would be really fun if we actually got together. It would be. So I'll look up how far Palm Springs is afterwards and see if I can't take a motorcycle ride and find somebody to take care of Woo. But either way, I look at Jacksonville and I'm thinking, yes, Jacksonville is that a team that needs Dalvin Cook. Carolina can get Leonard Fournette, and if they got Leonard Fournette, that team, Carolina it's exactly what Cam Newton needs. Cam Newton is turning into a bitch, and so he needs somebody to take that pressure and that heavy from him, and Leonard Fournette can do it. If they got Dalvin Cook, that'd be cool too. But at the same time, I think, there's certain fits for teams. And so therefore, getting back to AP, that is why I believe that AP is going to, AP is not going to do anything until after the draft. Bottom line. Doesn't matter. It's just, man, it is shocking to think that you can be Hall of Fame running back and then not be on a team right now. The NFL is very interesting. Seriously, think about that. You can be Hall of Fame, and granted, I know a lot of it is what have you done for me lately. I get it. But Adrian Peterson, the last time people doubted him, and I know this is cliche and rhetoric, but he came back and almost broke Eric Dickerson's rushing record. And I know he's 32 years old, coming off of a pretty tough, injury, but we have seen that nobody is like AP when it comes to physicality, training, intestinal fortitude, discipline, so forth. And so for him, I just feel like if he's in the right situation, I'm thinking he's going to end up with Green Bay or Oakland. I really do. I don't necessarily know, if that's my gut feeling. If it takes, until somebody gets hurt, I can possibly see that happening too. Adrian Peterson's not signed until training camp. Somebody's going to go down. It's the nature of football. It's why it's a contact sport. People get hurt. And so maybe it's a lot better for Adrian Peterson to be needed than for Adrian Peterson to want. And so maybe patience is the best situation for him right now. And really that is that. I don't necessarily all of a sudden Antonio Cromartie came to my head. I know Adrian Peterson's got a lot of kids by different women. I don't necessarily know how much money is going out to these women, and so I know he. I don't know. You see where I'm going with this, right? He probably needs to make decent money so he can, pay for these kids. He's got 8 of them or something like that. Ask Antonio Cromartie or Travis Henry or people like that how difficult it is. I'm thinking it's probably tough. So that yowza, right? But I don't know. It's intriguing to me. I like Adrian Peterson. I want to see where he lands, and I want to see Adrian Peterson. It's like Tiger Woods for me. I want Tiger Woods to still be Tiger Woods. Unfortunately, it's not happening, and I'm not far enough removed from Adrian Peterson yet to admit that he is not Adrian Peterson. I feel like if you were to still put him on Dallas with that offensive line, I think he'd do all right. I think everybody would do all right, actually. You know what I'm saying? But I still think Adrian Peterson has some left in the tank. I do believe that. And I do believe that if he's on the right team that can showcase that, he'll be... He could be, and I know he wouldn't ever do this, but look at what Cleveland did to that offensive line. I mean, we're talking, they've got one of the best offensive lines now in football, and you put him back there, and I mean, obviously they don't have a quarterback, and it's never going to happen, but that would be a good deal. Detroit, think about that. Detroit just solidified their offensive line. Huge. TJ Lang, Ricky Wagner, to go along with the rest of the, I can't remember. I know they just got somebody really good last year and so forth. So, and they need a running back in Detroit. And granted, they do a lot of shotgun, so that's not the best situation for AP. But there are suitors out there. Bottom line, it's going to take some time. I think everybody just needs to chill out. Hey, Lejean. Hi. You guys are in Palm Springs. It's just so crazy. So, yeah. Anyway. Tony Romo, obviously, I think that's going to be the same type of deal. I think that's going to be a wait and see. Jerry Jones is trying to get something, but, that's the thing now. It's like, what are you going to do? Hold him? If I was Jerry Jones, I would think about it. But just because if, Dak Prescott gets hurt, or Hi, sweetie. Dino. If Romo were to get hurt, not Romo, look, I'm getting all jacked. Dak Prescott, that was, all I'm saying is last year, you might not want to, like, put all your chips in on Dak. We've seen this stuff happen before. I'm not saying he's going to just fall and crash and burn. All I'm saying is it might not be the same result as you got last year with Dak Prescott. NFL coaches are pretty damn good. You give somebody a year of tape to go back and, like, figure it out, and Dak could be found out. That's all I'm getting at. And so you might want to hold on to Tony Romo. Is that going to happen? No. He's going to get released. But, look at Patriots with Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, I don't know, that still could happen. A trade still could happen. But if I was Dallas, I would think hard about keeping Romo. I really would. I don't necessarily think he'd be cool with that. Obviously, with that press conference that he held last year after, Dak was named the starter and he kind of gave up those reins, obviously reluctantly, he probably doesn't want to be in Dallas anymore. But if I'm Jerry Jones, if I'm running a football team, I know that Dak Prescott had the luxury of one of the best offensive lines, a great running back, and didn't have to do too much of anything. Well, they just lost 2 people off that offensive line, and now teams have a year of tape on Dak Prescott to figure him out. Look what happened to RG3. I'm not saying those two are the same, but all of a sudden RG3, became ineffective, and that's because defenses were playing him differently. Obviously with Dallas, and I said it all last year, why you wouldn't load up the box. Ryan, what's up, buddy? Good morning. Why you wouldn't load up the box against Dallas and make Dak beat you is shot. I just don't get it. I have no idea why nobody did that last year except the Vikings. And I think the Giants did, and hence they beat him twice. And make Dak beat you. It's shocking to me. I'm sitting here talking about how good NFL coaches are, but they failed epically last year to actually put Dak in a position to succeed. I mean, that's all they gave him, when in fact they should have made it all about Dak. Taken Ezekiel Elliott out of the game. Take him out. And then, it's so crazy. I don't know. It's just weird. So, what I'm saying is, Tony Romo might want to stay. Well, he doesn't want to stay, I'm sure. Allison, you're beautiful. Good morning, babe. I don't think Tony wants to stay, but if I'm Jerry Jones, in the back of my head, I'm thinking it's probably not a bad idea. Seriously, because Dak Prescott could have a little bit of a sophomore slump. How nice would it be to have a really capable quarterback in Tony Romo? I said it all last year. Tony Romo is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. If you think differently than that, you're an idiot. I'm sorry to be so harsh and blunt, but if you seriously think Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Tony Romo, you don't know football. Yeah, look at what Tony Romo has done, and everybody always brings up look at his playoff stuff. Peyton Manning had a losing record in the playoffs. Last I checked, Peyton Manning's pretty good. Tony Romo, yes, he has had struggles in the playoffs, unfortunately. As far as just quarterback talent, Tony Romo makes Dak Prescott look like he shouldn't even be in the league. And so to think Tony Romo isn't a good quarterback still, I mean, if I'm Jerry Jones, I would seriously think about starting Tony Romo instead of Dak Prescott, because Tony Romo would give you a better chance to win football games. I mean, that's just obvious. It's like Brett Favre versus Sean Salisbury. I mean, really, think about it. It's just, I'm trying to think of who the quarterback was when the Vikings brought in Favre in 2009. God, why am I blanking on this? I can see his face. Anyway, somebody on Facebook Live help me out with that. I just can't believe I'm blanking on that. Either way, that is what I'm saying. It's just like, yeah, you've got a guy, and granted, he put up good numbers last year, but it wasn't anything shocking. I mean, the touchdown to interception, yeah, that was shocking. I think it was like 21-2 or something like that. Rosenfels. Sage Rosenfels. That's what it is. I knew I'd come up with it sooner or later. You know, it's like Sage Rosenfels. He thought he was going to be the starter for the Vikings in 2009. And then they bring Favre in. He's, you know, Rosenfels' butt hurt. But what are you going to do? Favre is Favre. And that same thing with Romo. Romo's a top-notch quarterback. And you're going to, like, give it... it's weird to me still. It's seriously still weird to me. But I don't know. I think Tony should probably get a chance. Dino says, how about the basketball today? I need to win some money so I can stay down here. Yeah, Palm Springs isn't cheap. You know what? South Carolina, Florida, I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't watched enough of either of those two teams. Oh, that's what I wanted to check, though. They're both SEC teams. I just want to see, they played during the season, and I want to see... Okay, I'm looking up South Carolina. Man, they crushed Michigan back in the day. Florida, where's them Gators? Where are them Gators? Okay, so they beat Florida 57-53. Where was that? That was home. So, thank you, Chad. Thank you. They did split 57-53 at Florida, and then, at South Kakalaki, and then at Florida, they got crushed 81-66. I think Florida is the better team, although I think South Carolina is playing better basketball. As far as what the wise guys think, the wise guys have Florida by 4. And, you know, I guess that makes sense. I just think South Carolina is playing really good basketball, and the fun thing about South Carolina is they're somewhat under the radar type of a team. And a lot of people don't know about South Carolina basketball. Florida basketball is a lot better, you know, more well-known program when it comes to basketball. South Carolina is just kind of, you know, on the map all of a sudden. But at the same time, I'm saying South Carolina is playing really good basketball. Florida is too, though. That's just it. Florida... You know, I mean, obviously a buzzer beater three-pointer, you know, away from not being here, but they are here. Like I say, they split regular season between the two, and now they're on a neutral court. Where is the game? It's in the East region. Wonder where this game's being played. Hold on a sec. It's got to tell me, right? Somewhere? New York. So that does nothing for either... for either team. South Kakalaki and Florida, both of those teams in New York, people are like, where is South Carolina? So I don't think the neutral court, it has zero advantage whatsoever. I put it this way, my intuition says South Carolina. So if anybody who has ever listened to this show, or anybody who knows, I have the opposite of the Midas touch when it comes to betting. I know a lot about sports. For whatever reason, when I put money on them, I don't do well. So if you're a betting person, I would put money on Florida. Do not listen to this kid at all when it comes down to it. You see how bad shocking. I know a lot about football, probably more than I should. And I bet terribly on football. It's horrible. I never get things right. Generally get the teams who win. It's just these lines. Vegas has it so rigged to be so close. It's just, something shady about that. Let's just be real quick. There's not the huge hotels in Vegas because they lose money. It's got to be set up somehow. As far as Kentucky, North Carolina, like I say, all I would love to have is a repeat of the first game. 103-100, and I mean, that would just be a lot of fun. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm going back to that game real quick. Bring me up a box score. I mean, like I said, Malik Monk, 47 points, 8 of 12 on three-pointers. They shot 54% as a team, Kentucky did. North Carolina shot 53%. They shot 53% on field goals and three-pointers. Wow. And Kentucky shot 54%, 55% on three-pointers. Just, I mean, it's unbelievable to look at the stat lines on this game. It's actually amazing, as well as it probably should be for a 103 to 100 game. But like I say, I have no idea who's going to win this game. The wise guys have UNC by 3. And I don't know. I'm telling you right now, though, DeAndre Fox, he's by far the best player so far in the tourney, and I don't necessarily know who on North Carolina is going to guard him. That's the biggest thing. When I go back to that game, I'm trying to see if I can kind of tell who. I guess, you know, I mean, Barry guards him. I don't know. You know, he just killed Lonzo Ball. I mean, DeAndre Fox made Lonzo Ball look really, really mediocre. Lonzo Ball, I don't necessarily think is known for his defense, so there is that. But that kid is playing out of his mind. And once again, North Carolina, I mean, they're pretty much thrashing people to get here, but Kentucky is too. And I mean, North Carolina had a tough game against Arkansas and squeaked by. They crushed Butler on Friday, or was it Butler? Yeah, I think it was Butler. I got such a Butler. So I don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is, like I said earlier, this game to me, when you see it on the marquee, North Carolina, Kentucky, oh my God. Okay, I mean, I will be watching that game at 2 o'clock. 100%. You know, South Carolina, Florida, I might be overrunning Runyon. I mean, I might watch it, I might not, I don't know. But that Carolina-Kentucky game, that's must-see. That's must-see. 3 minutes left here on Shirts v. Skins. I just want to touch on something real quick, and I see Dom is on Facebook Live now, too, and he shot me something on Twitter yesterday about Bill Self, and I feel like I have to talk fast now because I only have 3 minutes left. But Bill Self, great recruiter, and has done really good things at Kansas. But it's interesting, really, when you think about his record at Kansas. I'm bringing it up real quick. I should have had this up. I want to say, come on, you pile. So, the numbers, where are they? Something about he's had 8 number 1 seeds, or 7. I think he has had 7 number 1 seeds, and only 2 of those times he's been to the Final Four. You know, they did win a championship back in 2008. But there's just, to me, he's a great recruiter. He seems like a great guy, you know. You're not going to fire Bill Self, but there is something to be said about having the best talent, some of the best talent. Obviously, Kentucky is right there,
90
too.
seconds.
And then not being able to get over the hump, though. I mean, we're talking number 1 seed in 7 seasons and not being able to get to the Final Four in 5 of those. I mean, that's not good. And granted, you know, I mean, basketball is it's tough. You might, you know, have a cold night shooting. You might run into a super hot team. You might get out coached. He even admitted last night that's what happened. He got out coached. But I just think, if you have year in and year out those type of players, and there are not as many one and dones at Kansas as there is on, you know, Kentucky and even Duke now. I don't know. I like Bill Self. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I just think you gotta be able to perform. Same thing with Kentucky. Everybody talks about how great Kentucky is, and granted they have the best players every year. But Calipari only has one championship at Kentucky. You know, I mean, he gets the best players every year, but they're one and dones. And then, you know, so I mean, it is more difficult, it seems like, for him to play. But, God, there's so much I want to get into right now. 10 seconds. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. Facebook Live for watching. I appreciate it. Shirts v Skins. I'm Alistair. Have a happy Sunday fun day, and I'll see you next week. Those of you, Facebook Live.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you so much. Yay! Mark, Don, JD, what up, Jamie? Hi, girl. My birthday buddy. I love it. Hope you all have an awesome Sunday fun day. And I'm going to. It's going to be a lot of basketball watching today. I got to hit an open mic later on, too. So, should be a fun day. Anyway, thanks again. Take care. Bye.